Hello and welcome to my next video. These are the videos that the series is going to look at, all the builds in PvP that tend to be sort of a bit cheesy because they're very easy to use and apparently they take little skill. So the next class we're looking at is my lovely ranger here, and we're going to look at the so-called Pew Pew Power Ranger. Now the ranger we have here has a great sword and also longbow skills, and the reason being ranger got in the last feature pack got a bit of a boost to its number 2 skill, rapid fire, where it really does inflict heavy damage. So let's have a look at the PvP build. So we've got the great swords, we have inflict vulnerability and +5 damage, that goes for the great swords, inflict vulnerability and 50% chance on critical to steal health. That's just the way I've got it set up. I find if you've got if you're pinging out 10 arrows, you've got a big chance to steal health. Rune of the Ranger, pretty simple. Ferocity and precision, plus 7 damage if you've got a pet alive, which pretty much all the time you do, and a berserker amulet. So pretty simple. If we go to the traits, it's 66020. So 6 we have in marksmanship. We get cause vulnerability with your first strike when entering combat. Keen edge allows you, it gives you a sharpening stone when you strike a foe beneath, below 75% health, and just adds that extra bleeds that you can really inflict heavy condition damage. There isn't anything else that you'd really want to take. Perhaps damage increase when endurance is full, but I think with the flat 10% it depends if your endurance is full. If you dodge around a lot, it can benefit you to take this, which I tend to do. I like to get involved in the action, particularly with the great sword, and so having sharpening stone tends to work out better for me. Pets have the opening strike. You get increased longbow range, obviously self-explanatory. Opening strike always critical hits, and longbow projectile velocity is increased, and increased attack speed. All pretty standard stuff for the longbow. We then go to skirmishing. We've got precision and ferocity max. Gain swiftness when swapping weapons in combat, so as soon as you swap you get a bit of extra swiftness. You get the chance to cause bleeding on critical hits, so if you're criticaling, you're causing massive amounts of bleeds. You gain fury as well when swapping weapons in combat, so that fury and swiftness boost, pretty substantial. Your longbow skills have a reduced cooldown, so you can see here 8 seconds for the the rapid fire, only 12 seconds for point blank shot, and barrage, hail of arrows, 24 seconds. And we get more damage while flanking, so if you were from the side or around the back, you're doing flat 10% damage increased. And finally, for the elite, so the top elite skill we go for, or the top elite trait, gain an attack of opportunity for you and your pets on interrupting a foe. So obviously the interrupt we have really is point blank shots. We do have as well hit bash. On my pets I have a, what's it called, I think it's a wolf, and it allows me to inflict fear, which is also an interrupt. And what it does, it causes daze. But especially for hit bash, if you see there, the daze and the stun is 3 seconds, which is more than enough time to recover. You could go for Strider's defense, but I find that extra stun with the hit bash really does give you that bit benefit. So let's talk about the skills, our ranger skills. The great sword. You've got run and leap, which obviously at the beginning of the map, when you're rushing for the points, is very useful. Maul is an incredibly powerful skill if you've got an incredible amount of vulnerability. If we switch to weapon here, if you've got rapid fire and then swap to Maul, you'll really have huge damage on your opponent. With regards to healing, I tend to go with healing spring. There are different options you can go for. I just like the fact that you can create a water field, and also to benefit my teammates as well. I have 3 signets as well. I have a speed boost just because I find the extra mobility useful. Health regeneration, I get a 62 health regeneration. and Signet of Stone Toughness. This can be activated if you're really suffering, you know, you've got a warrior or someone with high DPS, particularly like an Ellie, and they're really focusing you. You activate that and you will regain Signet of Stone for 6 seconds and you take no damage. So if you're holding a point, it's very crucial to take Signet of Stone. Other things you could, you know, there are Spirit Rangers. I tend to not really deal with that. I could take Signet of Renewal, but I like the extra regeneration that I get from me and my pet. And the Elite, you know, some Rangers take Rampage of 1, just for the extra critical chance. I like having an Entangle because of the bleeds, but more importantly the Immobilize. You can take out a number of players in Escape, or, you know, sort of control them. Imagine hitting Entangle and then they can't dodge out the way of Rapid Fire, and that really gives you a tactical advantage. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you some footage of me in the background of me playing as my Ranger. But yeah, generally on maps, the Rangers are a sort of annoyance. You know, they can be up high. There's very few counters to the Ranger. If you think of, you know, I've played a number of professions. The one I've found, they are extremely good at taking out thieves from a distance, because thieves, you know, they're just the armor penetration that Rangers have on a thief is pretty substantial. And if we look at some of the other characters, particularly the Elementalist, it isn't always easy for the Elementalist to counter a Ranger, because the Elementalist, particularly a Dagger Elementalist, will rely on a lot of boons and quickly casting skills, and the Ranger can pin down and can knock back the Elementalist. However, the Elementalist does have the ability to create swirling winds, and also it has reflective armor, which is the same for the Engineer. The Engineers can repel a Ranger. However, for one of my other videos, the turret build, if you don't have those reflective shields around your turrets, by a Ranger standing from distance and focusing on the Engineer, it is a lot easier to take out a turret Engineer with a Ranger than, say, you know, a Guardian. But Guardians are able to counter a Power Ranger. And the way they do that, they have a skill that reflects all missiles. I think it lasts for about 6 to 7 seconds. And that can really prevent a Ranger from using their tactical advantage, particularly on things like Temple of the Silent Storm, or even Forest of Niflheim, where Rangers tend to do a lot of flanking, even Legacy of the Foefire. When the Guardians, if he's in the centre point there, same with at Temple of the Silent Storm, if they're in the centre point, Rangers tend to flank from above. A Guardian can prevent that by putting up that sort of that shield wall, and then it would be very difficult for a Ranger to use their impact as you know, as they normally would. But if a Guardian hasn't got that, you know, there's not really much reflectiveness that a Warrior can do. The same with a Necromancer. Necromancers are quite vulnerable to Rangers. The lighter classes tend to be lighter and medium type classes. Ranger versus Ranger is always an interesting one. It's all about, you know, whether you can outmaneuver them. But generally the Ranger is a very good class. It never used to be this way until the update, and Rapid Fire got quite a boost. And I feel now that a lot of people can play Ranger despite being very inexperienced. I do feel that if I was going to start now going into PvP, if I'd never played before, a turret Engie would be a good one to start off with. A Ranger is also a good one to start off with because of the great sword longbow combination. You allow it because the Engineer, you're not changing weapons. This is the first character where you actually start to change weapons. So in that case, I feel that this is definitely a class that should be, you know, played a lot more by newer players, and also that you know, it does get a lot of stick for being a bit of a cheese build, but you know, it's just what the developers have brought in, and it's a class that you can play. So yes, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Enjoy some of the fighting in the background here, just me trying to, you know, my PvP skills are reasonable. Sometimes I can be bad, sometimes I can be good. You know, I've fought some of the best players, you know, when they've been solo queuing or team queuing. You know, I can hold my own, but yeah, there are times when I do sort of mess up. Anyway, I hope this has been useful for you guys, and I hope seeing me in action gives you some idea of how best to play this sort of Power Ranger. Feel free to leave any comments. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.
The Blue Lord's been slain.
Swiftly.
You lost the waterfall. You've captured the quarry. Your lord is under attack. Your lord is under attack. You've taken the graveyard. Your lord is under attack. Your lord is under attack. Your lord is under attack. The waterfall is yours.
I've beaten you, but you
Your team is victorious.